What is going on, scholars, families, and beautiful people? Welcome again to the third annual Black Future Month. We have had a month just full of roundtables, discussion, and nuggets. My name is Devon Travell, creator of Black Wall Street, the board game, and director of curriculum development for IMI. So far, we've had a good conversation about Black health, right? And how can we connect Black culture and African culture together. If y'all were a part of that, let us know. Go ahead and put some comments. But we had Sinclair, the health nerd, on here. We had James, that yoga dude, on here, dropping some good nuggets. We also had the Black Education Roundtable with Josiah, with Dr. Banks. We had Rod on there. We had Tyree from Black Book Club on there. That was a really, really good discussion. Shout out to all my kings on there who came through. And then, of course, last week, we talked about securing the bag, right? We talked about life insurance. We talked about firing your boss with Josiah. We talked about real estate with Call Carmelita. And today we're going to kind of keep that conversation going, right? I see some folks that are watching live. Y'all get ready, all right? We brought an expert for y'all today who's going to talk to y'all about how can you monetize your expertise? How can you take what you're good at, right? Or what you get paid to do in your 9 to 5 job, and how can you take that gift and now get paid for it on your own as a consultant, building a business, writing a book, starting a podcast, something like that. So if you are ready for that, let us know in the comments, right? Let us know what cities you are calling in from or you're watching in from, and we're going to get right into it after this intro. Let's go. Brother Al, welcome on in. How you doing, King?
I'm doing good, man. You got my head over here. I'm bopping. I was like, oh, I like the tune to the video, man.
We got to start it off right. We got to start it off
Yeah.
right. I see Faith is in here in the comments. How you doing, Faith? I just spoke to, and this is where I think a lot of people need your support, need our support, Brother Al. But I just spoke to a lot of scholars on Juneteenth
Okay.
about how they can make a difference in their community, right? How they can take their skills, their gift, their passion, and they can really impact change within their community. And I love what you're doing, and you're using your gift of business development, right? And you're helping people like me. Yeah, you already gave me some free game, which I appreciate. But if you don't mind giving a good introduction to the folks that are just meeting you, and just letting folks know what is your gift and how do you use it.
Okay, yeah, sure, no problem. So my name's Al Duncan. I'm the lead instructor for the Black Experts Empire. At the Black Experts Empire, we have a creed that we call the Black Experts Creed, and that is this simply. Your mind is your most valuable and resilient asset. No one should profit more from your mind than you do. So use your mind to build the
Mm-hmm.
ideal lifestyle for you and your loved ones. And so that's our creed. And we're determined to help folks um, build and generate generational wealth, for them, of course, and their families as well. But more importantly, to make sure that your mind, that asset that you have, that you are taking full advantage of it, because if you're not, someone else will. And what I mean by that is everybody pays you for your skills, for your information, right? Or in the world of career development, we call it not a skills and abilities. So they love to pay you for that because they know they can take that, give you a small piece of what they are earning off of that, and then flip that into an incredible amount of revenue for them and for their
Right.
families. So we like to help make sure entrepreneurs, experts in particular in the Black community, can take their expertise and their experiences and transform that into some type of consistent, significant, and a stable source of income. So I've been at it for 20 years, man. I've been a full-time entrepreneur myself for over 20 years now. The full-time professional speaker. I've spoken all around the world to over 1.5 million people. And so this is what I love to do. At this point in the game,
Love
I'm
it.
like, okay, I can't be one of those people where they say, every time one of the elders passes, a library
A
goes with
library,
them.
bro.
That's right.
Mm.
I'm determined to make sure that does not happen. So me and the entire team at Black Experts Empire, we are here to make sure folks get their questions answered, and more importantly, that they can execute
Oh
on
yeah.
these ideas and principles that they've been learning. I see that happen a lot. A lot of people are aware that they need knowledge and information. But
Mm-hmm.
here's a Duncan nugget for you. There's a difference between accumulation and application. So these
Mm.
days we're all being much better in being at being inundated and accumulating a lot of information, but we're lacking execution and application. So we just want to make sure that happens, man. I appreciate you giving me a few minutes of your time this evening.
Oh, of
And
course.
I'm always telling you, man,
Oh
when
yeah.
we talk about inspiring, you at the top of my list, brother.
Uh,
People don't
hey.
realize when you came to Black Experts Weekend a couple years ago, you were dropping jewels, dropping straight knowledge. So, and we don't forget that.
Thank
So I
you.
appreciate that, man.
No, that's huge, and I love that nugget. You said accumulation is different from application,
That's right. People love
right?
to
Those are
accumulate.
those are
That's right.
two different things. So speaking of which, right? If we have folks watching right now, if y'all have questions, particularly for your situation, like Al, he is a wealth of knowledge. He's not shy about sharing. So definitely feel free to put your specific question in there, and we can answer it live, right? But for the folks
Absolutely.
that are watching and they are looking for maybe like those first few steps in applying, like how do I get started? Maybe I don't have a business idea yet, but I'm a professional, I'm a college
Mhm.
student, I have a skill set. What is that like first one or two steps to really getting the ball rolling?
Right. So, uh, one of the things we like to look at is making sure you understand what we call an ACE. So that's your area of credible expertise, because what we want to do is find out what areas you have credible expertise, because when it's credible, that means it has a tremendous amount of value and it's easier to monetize that. And we
Mm,
want to take that and then mix that with an ideal audience or something that's known as a customer avatar, finding the right customer avatar that will pay you for that type of skill or that particular knowledge set that you have. In general, for us, and I want to be careful about this because when you start talking about entrepreneurship, it's so vast and broad. That we focus mainly on three types of experts. Those are what you call learning professionals, right? These are people that want to speak, inform, inspire, or teach. A lot of times they'll be your online course creators, or those are folks who say, I want to get up and do keynotes. I want to be like Devon, right? Like you were this weekend. I want to get up in front of the crowd, rocking a mic. These are folks like that, and they want to be trainers. And the topic doesn't matter. It could be anything from horticulture all the way over to motivation, anything in between. So those are learning professionals. And then there are your service professionals. These are people who have a very highly developed skill set that took them years to develop. And they're like, okay, I want to get paid top dollars for my skills. Those are your personal chefs and massage therapists, accountants, and attorneys, and things along those lines, right? And then there are your product professionals. These are people who say, what, I want to take my passion or my expertise and turn it into some type of product that I can use to then transform the lives of other folks. And so those are the main areas you want to focus on. So if you're trying to figure out how to get started, exactly what you want to do, a lot of
mhm,
people say, start off with your passion. Now, I'm going to be careful about this. So everybody knows me, I keep it a buck, right? And so here's the deal. I have mixed feelings about passions because as a former musician, I've seen a whole lot of folks that's passionate about doing stuff they can't do.
mm.
You could turn on any talent show and see somebody that's up in front of the room that is crazy, insanely passionate about singing or playing some instrument or dancing or something that they cannot do. And of course, it's not for us to tell them what a person can or cannot attain. I'm just saying, realistically speaking, your passion is okay, but more importantly, let's start with your area of credible expertise. These are things that you do so well that people are interested in paying you for them, or they seek
Mhm.
out your advice or your help with those things. And then if we can take that and hopefully find a meeting point between something you're passionate about, something you have credible expertise in, and also a market that is willing to pay you, then we got a good point to jump off with.
Let's go. Listen, y'all, we're only a few minutes in. I hope y'all are taking notes. I had to go get me a pen really quick because I was like, oh,
uh,
he's dropping nuggets right now. Hold up. Hold up. But I like your ACE acronym. Areas of critical expertise.
Yeah,
Like what
areas of credible expertise.
credible. Okay.
Yes, and I'm gonna tell you why I say credible. And so watch this. Um, when you talk about, so people always come and say, okay, I as long as I have expertise in this, I know what I can do. No, what happens is there's nothing more skeptical for to a buyer or somebody who's thinking about using your services or buying your product or listening to what you have to say or taking your advice, then okay, who are you and how credible is what you're trying to offer me, right? And
Mm,
so this is why they bring credible witnesses up to the stand. And the first thing they do is when so if you're in a court case and they bring a witness up there, what the prosecution comes or the defense tries to do is try to undermine the credibility of the witness. They rarely try to tackle or or chop down who the person is. They're trying to attack the credibility of whatever he or she is saying. Is it credible? And
mm,
the reason for that is because without credibility and validity, people don't really know, they can't confirm the value of what you had to offer. And so people are going to do business with you if they know you, like you, trust you, and remember you, of course, but it's got to
mhm,
be credible, right? It has to be credible. And I'll give you a perfectly good example. If we're, and it's not just expertise, I'm telling you, it's credibility. Watch. So if you are watching a talk show, and on this talk show there's a panel, right? Let's say there are 5 expert psychologists or psychiatrists. I'm talking about these are people that are at the top of the game. They've written papers on what they want to do. They have research and things of that nature, and they're on there talking, right, and explaining what you should do or what you couldn't do. And
mhm,
all of a sudden, the talk show host comes on. It could be Oprah, it could be Steve Harvey, it could be somebody. I guarantee you that if Oprah tends to disagree with what these psychiatrists are saying, people are going to tend to gravitate towards Oprah because she's got the celebrity, and in their mind it's her platform, and therefore it's her credibility. So you got
mm.
to be careful with this expertise, blanket expertise. The world is full of experts who don't know what they're talking about. You see it all the time. And
Yeah.
so we got to make sure that there's some credibility attached to that. And I'm always careful because that's how people begin to perceive or begin to shape the value about what they think you had to offer.
Come on, y'all. Come on. If you're getting any type of value, and I just want to, just so folks know, this is not even the full webinar, right? This is just
This is
the
true.
pre-webinar. This is just the live Q&A, right? I was gonna come back on Thursday and do a full webinar giving y'all all the game about the ACE, right? Your
Hmm.
credible expertise. He'll give y'all the game about which pathways you might want to go into building systems. So the link is inside of the description. If you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube, to register, it is 100% free as a part of Black Future Month. Al's gift to our community. Much
Absolutely.
appreciate you, Al. I just wanted to make sure folks understood that this is only the sneak peek, right? If they
Yeah,
want
this
to
is just
get
a sneak peek, man. We're going live, and here's what we want to do. What we want to do in particular, because Devon is doing so much great stuff, and what we do is we have something called Ask the Expert. Because I'm gonna say this again, even right now while I'm talking, if you notice, it is still, the information is still very general, and that's okay because we're giving out principles that cross a wide range of folks, right? But there's something to be said, and this is what Black Experts Empire really specializes in, what we focus on. There's something to be said for you to be able to put yourself on camera, on screen, because that's what we're going to do some of that on Thursday. You're like, well, how can I get on screen? We're going to let Devon pick some folks. And
hey,
we're gonna
okay.
let
Yeah.
Devon pick a few folks, and we're gonna work with him as well. We also gonna let him pick a few of you all. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually bring you on camera. You either be on camera or you could be just talk on audio and get your specific questions answered. So, for example, when he asked me, how could you get started? I gave him a very general principle oriented answer. That's a lot different than somebody getting on the camera or getting on the mic and saying, Al, this is what I do right now, currently in my day-to-day life, or this is what I started already, or here's my website. Can we pull that up, take a look at it, and you tell me what's the next step I need to take from here? That's the type of high-level information we give out, so that we are focused on application and execution and getting your
Mhm.
answers and getting your questions answered in real time. So that's the type of stuff we're going to be doing on Thursday, man.
I love it. I love it. So I got a slightly personal question.
Okay.
If this question doesn't rock with everybody, y'all let me know. Y'all can put your questions inside the comments. But something that I told a friend to do, and I want to make sure I gave him good advice. He's
Okay.
a sports counselor slash coach, right? So he
All
was
right.
an ex professional athlete. Now what he tries to do is he trains high school students and college students on how to get to that next level, right? Whether it's a high school student going into college, or if a college student going into professional career as an athlete. And what
Okay.
I suggested was, is I think you should write a book, I think you should
Okay.
write a book. I think it would add to your credibility. I think it would allow you to speak to more people at conferences, and then you'll be able to also sell that book during your speaking engagements as well. So I would just want to kind of get your thoughts on folks who should write books and folks who shouldn't write books when it comes to your business model.
Right. Okay. So that's a tricky question, because when it comes to should I not write a book, most experts are going to have a book at some point in time. The question
Mm,
is, when should you write the book? And so this is a question of packaging. All right. And so one of the biggest mistakes we see experts make is that they have highly valuable content packaged in the least valuable manner. All right. So without knowing who your friend is, right? If he or she were here, and he was talking to me about, okay, I got this. I'm taking high school students to college, and I'm taking the college athletes over into the pros. And should I write a book that shows I can deliver this system, right? And I'm saying, okay, that could be one aspect. And yes, he could go out and get speaking engagements, and yes, he could also. That would add a great deal of credibility, right? But he could also just as equally take his framework, which is what he should be developing first, even before the book, right? As an expert, you want a framework, because with your framework, you can turn it into a book or a course or a keynote or anything along those lines, right? And so if I were talking to him, I would probably be having him saying, we're going to do this knowing that it's going to produce a book on the other end. But what we're going to start is we're going to start out with some video series and some online courses, and maybe even an actual live camp or some type of framework that you can go and deliver at either at high schools or at other athletic camps. And what I
mhm,
want you to do is start selling your framework first, right? And so they might buy it in book form, but they might buy it in a course form. They might buy it in the form of, I can pay for, I can pay for 6 weeks of coaching, and you walk me through the process step by step, right? Because what happens is, in a book that's worth $15 or $19.99, you know this, it happens all the time. I got a book that I have book that's on Amazon, 15, 14.99. I sold tens of thousands of copies of that book, My Success Journal, and the schools buy it, right? And so, and I usually sell them in bulk, right? And so
yeah,
they buy them, but what I notice is I get paid way more for the same content delivered in webinar format or as a
mm,
part of a 12-week series. I can talk about one chapter of the book and during each series, and all of a sudden you increase your profit margins tenfold, right? And so I'm not going to say you gave him bad advice, because that's absolutely not true. The book is nothing wrong with that, and if he has nothing going, except he has no other opportunities, he has no online presence, no platform, or anything along those lines, I can see him starting to work on his book. What I would do is have him work on the book while he is building his online presence. So use the framework. Say every week I'm posting videos on YouTube. Every week,
mm,
I got little tips on Facebook, and every week I am letting people know that my course is coming, right? And that you'll be able to sign up for my course, because what he's doing is he's working through his principles, right? While he's working through the principles, he's making sure they actually work. He's getting testimonials for the book and for the course and for his whole brand. And so, in a nutshell, what I'm saying is that it's not the book, it's the framework and
yeah.
it's content that I would have him working on. And because on the other end, it doesn't matter what package it comes out. It needs to come out in the package that is the most valuable for his particular audience. And what I mean by that is, you can have a book, but as a young athlete, going to actually sit down and watch a book. So this was heartbreak for me. One time I spent all this time working on this MP3 and this CDs of this audio training that I wanted to get to college students. They didn't want to hear that stuff, man. They like college students was like, listen, where's the book? Give us the digital version or the physical version, right? You
Mm,
know why? Because in the earbuds, when they're on the treadmill or they're working or they're walking back and forth to class, they're not trying to listen to me at that point in time, right?
yeah.
This was years ago. They were like, no, we're in school, we're students, we're trained to get books. I want a book, man. Where's the book? I don't want you in my head. These earbuds, this is for my jams. Whatever I'm playing right now,
Yep.
And so I had to learn how to package that in the right manner for that particular avatar. Does that make sense to you?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
it makes perfect sense. I love using the book as like the launching pad, the framework, but that's not the endpoint. How can you use the videos,
Mm-hmm.
audio? We got coaching series, courses, and all of that is going to give you a better ROI than the book, right?
Yes, because people pay. So there's levels to content. I'm just giving away all the secrets now. It's levels
All
to
the
content,
goods, y'all. You
right?
know?
So there's levels to content, right? So a
Okay.
book is more so fits the form of a what and maybe a how to. But when somebody can get on video with you, or they're looking at you and engaging with you, they can see you. Not only does it increase the trust factor, they start to feel like we're doing this. That's like a you and I type of thing, and that's automatically perceived to be more valuable. And you know this all the time. I talk about this quite frequently when we have open enrollment events for Black Express Empire. I'm always using Black Panther as an example. The original comic of Black Panther came out back in 1966 or something like that. It was only 12 cents, right? That's how much the first comic cost. A few years later, in 19, I don't know, somewhere in the 1970s, Black Panther got his own comic, and then that was the first. I don't know. The first printing of that was only 30 cents. Okay, so the first issue of that was 30 cents. Man, by the time we got around to the Black Panther movie coming out, the Black Panther movie itself made more money. I'm talking about more money, billions. It made more money than the entire comic book industry put together that year. And that was one movie. And the only thing changed is it was packaged different. The story, the same Black Panther story, was no longer in a comic book that you could get put in somebody's hand. It's now packaged in a movie format that everybody gets to go and experience. And so people will pay more money for the tickets, and thus it generated more income. So that's an example of understanding that packaging is extremely important.
Oh yeah, packaging is definitely important. Having levels to the game is important. And believe it or not, folks, there are levels to the wisdom that Al has as well. This is just we're on here for 15, 20 minutes. If you've
Yep.
been taking notes, I know you've already gotten hundreds of dollars worth of game, right? But definitely make sure y'all come back on Thursday and tap in. We'll stick around. If there's questions, feel free to put them inside the comments and Al can go ahead and get to them. But if folks don't have questions, Al, I want you can just let folks know who is tomorrow for, right? If they're just on the edge, if they're thinking like, I don't know if this is for me or not, who are the folks who would get, in your opinion, the
For
most value
Thursday, yeah,
out of Thursday?
absolutely. So the people who get the most value out of on Thursday are folks that are saying, you know what, I know that I want to do a little something more. I'm just not sure what that is yet. Okay. But it's also for folks that are like, listen, I'm already working on this thing. I got my business
Mm,
out. You preaching to the choir here, Al. I know about online courses. I know about videos. I know about this stuff. That's great, because the Black Express Empire is full of folks like you. That is people that's like, I've already started building my empire. What I'm trying to figure out is how to make this thing grow. So every Monday, this is who we deal with when we're in group coaching. We're talking to high achieving, high earning Black folks, right? That are saying, I don't want to be stuck now. I want to figure out exactly what the best practices and principles are. But more importantly, I have some specific things I need answered. I don't need a lot of folks are like, I don't even know if I need a whole lot more knowledge, right? But what I do know is I need some more answers, right? And I need
mm,
a little bit more direction. So if you're like, I need some more answers, I need some more direction. And normally I can't afford to pay a high level business consultant, right? I can't afford to pay for that. That costs tens of thousands of dollars an hour sometimes. Then guess what? You want to show up on Thursday, come on over, right? And get some of your questions answered in real time. It's for those type of folks.
Perfect. There you go. If you need answers, if you need direction, and maybe hiring a full-time coach or a consultant isn't in the budget right now, come
Mm-hmm.
through Black Experts Empire. Al Duncan will give you some free game. All it's going to cost you is attention and execution.
That's right.
All right, we're not here to just give you a whole bunch of information for you to continue accumulate and not actually build wealth with, actually build your business with. So if y'all coming, we want y'all to come. We want that energy. Bring your attention, notepad, and your willingness to execute on at least one of the things that I was going to give you. I'm sure there's going to be a long list, like 5, 7 key plays. At least do one.
Yeah, I tell you something that's funny. Actually, what I usually find with folks is, once again, that's the accumulation application thing. So I used to be, I'm a former professional saxophone player. I'm a martial artist, So when it comes to teaching people things, what I realize is I don't need to give you a whole bunch of techniques all the time. I don't need all the time to teach you something new. What we need to do is get on and focus on one thing that's
Mm,
what we call a bottleneck that's keeping you from being able to move forward, right? And even Bruce Lee had a quote about that. He said, I ain't worried about the dude that know 1,000 kicks. I'm worried about the guy who practiced one kick 1,000 times.
Mm.
Right? Because so it's usually that one thing. So yes, we will give you, and because I don't want folks to feel overwhelmed. Devon is right. We will give you plenty, all that you can handle. And if you need a list, if you want the five pillars of an expert empire, we got them. That's our framework, right? So we'll break them down for you. But normally for most people, what they need is they need some a direct single thing or two or three things that you need to go work on this, do this, and then you'll be able to make some progress and take some steps forward.
Boom. There it is, y'all. Come through. I see Carmelita in here. Eliminate the bottleneck, right?
Yeah, you got to eliminate bottlenecks, man.
Eliminate that bottleneck, right? Al, I appreciate you. I appreciate the time that you're donating to Play Black Wall Street Community and Black Future Month. You know, and again, we're going to be there. We're going to be taking our notes. Some of the folks watching are going to be there and definitely getting some value out of it. Much appreciated, King. Anything you want to say as we close
No,
this one
I
out?
appreciate it, man. I look forward to working with you. You know, I seen you on Thursday. We'll make sure we get some stuff done. This won't be the only time. So, in case y'all wondering, you know, I will be like, Devon, come on, man, bring me back again.
It's good.
So, this won't be the only time, but I will see y'all on Thursday. You know, until then, be safe, be well, be blessed. I appreciate it, brother.
Yes, sir. And a quick reminder for the Black Future Month, we have one last roundtable this Saturday. It's going to be the Black Love Roundtable hosted by the M4 Show, talking about relationships, love, and how to build a business with your partner. And then, of course, on Thursday with Al and the Black Experts Empire, we'll be having that Ask an Expert. It's going to be really fun. Make sure y'all come through and get the value. Again, this is all part of the third annual Black Future Month. Stay healthy, stay amazing, and go execute, y'all. Peace.